Lena, thank you. It is 6:49 right now with the one-year anniversary of the duck boat tragedy happening today. Many are just plagued by the horror of the whole thing.
Yeah, including people like first responders who were at the scene. Abigail James is at Table Rock Lake with more on how they're coping 1 year later.
You know, just yesterday we spoke with some of the first responders that were there that night, Gina and Joe, and they say that even a year later, it's a nightmare that they just can't shake from their minds. According to the public information officer for the Taney County Ambulance District, Jonathan Tudor, they had activated its mass casualty incident plan, which deployed every available truck that night. He also said mutual aid was called for and off-duty personnel were called into work. And the same thing was happening at other departments. Because of the mass casualty plan, all hospitals were contacted through an emergency management system and told there were multiple fatalities and potential patients. This allowed hospitals to say how many patients they could take. A total of 17 people died that night. Tudor says a year later, it's still an open wound. This is something that'll stay on their minds for a very long time.
There's some of our personnel that are still seeking counseling and still having a hard time dealing with it. Just as it started to kind of get off your mind, it becomes a year later and you remember it all.
Now, Tudor says that some of the paramedics were actually given the day off today to help them out. I'll have more on the tragic anniversary later on KCTV5. At Table Rock Lake, Abigail James, KCTV5 News.